now.
Right. Well, I'll make a start. Inevitably, I'm sure the mayor will join us.
He's just arrived.
All right.
I said he would. Right, we might as well wait.
Yeah, we'll wait then now.
That could be the shortest chairing of a meeting that's ever happened. I didn't quite get to the first item on the agenda.
A bit quick there. All right, apologies. Right, so I'll repeat obviously what David has just said. Welcome. Good turnout tonight. Yeah, okay, so the first agenda is apologies for absence, apart from the mayor.
Well, you've literally made it in the same minute, so you're all right. I haven't had any apologies, but we do have the long-standing apology from Roy.
Okay, I did get a note from hang on, from remember his name.
Peter, sorry, Peter. Yeah.
Saying he was not going to be able
his
to
apologies
attend.
as well.
Yep. So happy to accept those.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then to just make sure I'm reading the agenda on the declaration of interests. Can't see anything controversial in this one. No. Okay then. And then we're on to representation from interested parties. I assume there's not.
We've got Ian that's gonna. That's why Ian.
Yeah.
Oh, is that why Ian's here? Is it? I see.
Yeah.
I'm an interested party. I'm not a council. Well, I am, but I'm not. But I'm not on the committee, so I'm just here because Emma told me to be. So I'm doing what I'm told. Shall I just say a piece now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's just to ask that we make an allowance somewhere in the budget before it goes to full council for some more money to the skate park, maybe next year and the year after. The feedback for the work that Rampchild did has been very positive, but there are two issues sort of remain outstanding of the sort of development of more, I'm going to say rides, and that's not the right word, but more ramps, etc. In particular, smaller ones for smaller children to learn the rides for the bigger one. I think it's called a mini pipe, 2.5 foot rather than the 5 foot one. And then also the thing that we've talked about with some of the skate park users is that the tarmac is pretty rough and ready, which is bad to skate on. But more importantly, when you go over it, it's very good for staying in your skin. And that's not that pleasant. So you know, looking towards rebuilding bits of the skate park and maybe filling in between the various bits with concrete. I don't have any exact figures or anything, and I don't know what's in the budget, but if it could be considered that certainly next year and maybe the year after there was a provision, the pipe cost 12,500. I'm guessing the mini pipe would cost about that, and I would imagine some concrete would cost about that again. So, you know, 25 over 2 years or maybe a bit more, but I don't know how it all works. So I'm just asking, hoping, praying that some money could be found at some point at somewhere.
Emma's budget screen is not responding at the moment.
I know. Yes.
Excuse me. It sounds like my bid hasn't worked then.
Wow.
The computer has said no.
It's. I'm just going to get the latest budget up then.
Those are well organised files. I'm very jealous.
Right, let me just move that about the way.
Line 96, Emma.
Yeah. What is that for? What's on line 96?
The recreation.
Okay. Oh yeah, we've got 10,000 set aside in the draft budget at the moment. But then if we come down further down, this is that amount of money that we agreed we could add into the budget that wouldn't give us a percentage increase in the pre-step. So it's whether you want to.
But we can very easily increase that 10 to 12.
Which line are we looking at now? Sorry.
Can you see that in large? We've
NCD services, yeah.
Yeah, but it's not NC services. It's just where that's just the line that
Yes.
Peter has put that extra money that we discussed at the last finance meeting. The only thing with 12 that I think you're looking, if you want to do the sorts of things that Ian was just talking about, I think you've got to start thinking about 40 or 50,000 to cover that.
Over 2 years.
Yeah, it depends if you want to do it all over 2 years. So yeah, but that's just a complete stab in the dark. It could even be more.
What would we have left of any Section 106 money?
We have 70,000 Section 106 money that we have earmarked for Fletton Field. However, that is for outdoor youth and adult activities. And when I spoke to East Northants Council before we put it aside for Fletton Field, we could use that on the skate park.
Sorry, slightly off topic, but have we had an update recently from NCC about where Fletton Field is? No. Presumably that's not going to happen now before Unitary, is it? So,
well, I think what's happening, and what I've heard from some of these meetings I've been to, is all other parish and town councils are trying to have dialogues about assets, and none of the district, boroughs or county want to even talk about it. I think they're waiting until everything's going to move to Unitary, and then you can start your discussions.
Okay. So that's really in line with what Jerry was saying there, then nothing's going to happen until the Unitary.
No. The only problem with that is we have a deadline to spend that 70,000. And it's, at the moment, it's September 22, which is, it seems like quite a long way away, but
Sort of one skate park.
yeah.
soon creeps up, isn't it?
Mm.
I mean, when you think about how long the Fletton Field thing, when we agreed to put that money aside, we're already into the second year of that.
Do we have to make this decision now if we've got this NCC services line in our budget at the moment? You know, can we make it as the year is rolling along? Yeah, once we've got some numbers of what it is that we might want to invest in the skate park.
I don't know. Is Ian still there? Because I can't see him.
Yeah.
Oh, he is. Oh, right. Okay. That's
Yeah, I'm just keeping quiet.
I
I'm a
couldn't
member of
see.
the public.
Yeah, I mean, we can do. Yeah. I mean, the money will be there. It's just on how.
Yeah, Jerry.
It seems to me that we've got quite a lot of money actually available to us through Section 106 and provisions that we've got in our budget already. So I would suggest that we defer any decisions until we know exactly what we want, but give Ian some reassurance that it looks like there's plenty of money there to be able to do it if the council decides that's what they want to do.
That's more than sufficient.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I shall leave you to your meeting then. Have a lovely time.
Thank you, Mr. Interested Party. You.
All right, I'm going to go and be interested somewhere else then.
A good service there.
More.
Yeah. Thank you, Ian.
Thanks very much indeed. Buzzy bye.
Bye.
Aye.
I don't know whether that was a representation or a request, but whichever of the categories it fitted into.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So moving then on to the minutes of the last meeting, which were on and off and on and off. Have I signed the right ones?
No, I just had a bit of a mental issue this afternoon, I think. I was reading the paperwork and then panicked, then realised I was reading last month's paperwork.
I do that frequently.
This month's paperwork was still in my bag.
Yeah.
So,
So the ones I've signed are for the 10th of November.
yeah.
But that's once I've been given the authority from this group to sign
Yeah.
them.
Mm-hmm.
So is everybody happy with the minutes? Those of us who were there was myself, David and Malcolm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy.
All right then. So I'll propose them and a seconder. Yeah, whichever one. I can't see it. There's a hand. Yes. All right. Malcolm. We're all in favour of them. So that's all right. Thank you. I'll pop those in the mailbox tomorrow, Emma.
Lovely, thank you.
Right then, on to the real meeting. To receive the monthly accounts for November 2020.
I've got a couple of questions actually.
Yes, please. I'm just trying to get them up there.
Paul, I just noticed that when I compared the P&L account from October and November, there seemed to be an imbalance. You introduced any corrections to the October figures, or is that me and my mathematics?
No, it won't be your mathematics. What happens is, like this particular meeting, you have to have all of your documents 1 week before. So your documents came out on the 1st of December. So any invoices that come through for November after that date go into the following month. That's
It's
all.
about £2,000 or something, I think, wasn't it? Or 1,500 or something, is that right?
You want to give me a clue where it was, or shall I?
Well, I
find-
just took the P&L account from the balance at the end of the sheet, you know, from the October sheet. There's a bit of a difference, about
I'll
£2,000.
find out what it was.
£2,000.
I'll
So
find out
I assume that's what it was. I
Yeah,
assumed it was invoices that came in afterwards, but
because you do sometimes get them 2 to 3 weeks later.
yeah.
But like the circumstances dictate when you need your documents.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah.
And just on the age debtor analysis, so I had a couple of questions. We've got Aura and Lawns Farm or something, Lawn Farm. Seems like there's money from a long time ago.
Yeah.
Horticultura is the company that, you know, they rented the hub space.
Which one's that? Aura?
They were the fine dining people, weren't
Yeah, they owed us a considerable amount of money, which they agreed to pay £100 a month. And the last payment should have been in March. It didn't happen. I've tried contacting them on the information I've got, and I haven't had any response.
No answer to telephone calls or anything.
Mm.
Do you think they've gone?
No, I don't. I've not seen Horticultura anywhere else. So I don't know.
Was it a limited company?
I don't know off the top of my head. Do you know, Paul?
No, not as far as I'm aware, they're not.
Yeah.
So anyway, what are we going to do about it? We're going to write it off, or log a dead horse, or what?
Well, that's for you know, to decide. I mean, it's been because this was actually they were given a year. They were already in debt, and they were given a year. Like I said, which ended in March.
Yeah, I remember that now. Yeah.
We're now in December. I mean, they paid the majority of it off.
Well, unless we write them a stiff letter, and if nothing happens at the next meeting, we just write it off.
Okay, yeah, I'll write to them again.
Yeah. And the other one was Lawn Farm.
And your other one,
And somebody.
they've been regularly chased. We've always had issues trying to get cash out of them, and previously they were on an annual invoice, which meant we got the money up front. I know that Karen's actively chasing it, and I think we will still get it. They just don't like parting with money.
So are they still showing? They're coming to the markets?
Yeah, and they have the
Yeah.
choice. Yeah,
Well, I think we have to give them a choice. They pay up or don't come.
that's happening for this Saturday.
Okay. Oh, I
That
can't hear you.
decision has already been made.
All right. Okay, that was
So
the only, they were the only ones, really.
made in the office.
They were the only ones.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's fine.
All right. Well, thanks for that input, Malcolm. Anybody else? David or Jerry?
No.
Right.
No.
So that's received then. And then approve the budget for 21-22. So just following on from the previous conversation.
Can I ask another question?
Of course you can.
Thank you. Well, I don't want to be making use of it. Anyway, the this increase in money that we're going to receive, and that's just from the extra number of households are being taxed. Is that right, Paul?
Yes.
So it's about 15% more than the previous year, according to that. Is that correct?
That's the numbers that we've been quoted, yes.
So is that based on housing that's going to appear, or is that based on, because I don't think there's been 15% increase in housing over the last year.
Well, this is the figure that we've got from ENC, and it needs to be approved by the members, but as a general rule, once they've said this is how many number of houses you've got, it's generally agreed, which is
It's
why...
just I was surprised when I thought about it. 15% increase is a hell of a lot. I know we've got big increases coming, but they haven't been built yet.
No.
So I questioned it. I'm not questioning your mathematics. I'm questioning
I was
the-
quoted, that's all I can say.
Yeah, yeah, that's just what they've sent us.
Is it worth checking up on it? I mean, it just seems such an enormous figure that I don't know, we ought to question it or just wait for the money to come.
Well, I think the important thing for me in that is that we should doubt it and therefore, you know, not cut anything further. We said we'd go on a zero increase in the precept, you know, for this next period.
Yeah, okay.
So don't be tempted to cut it back down again because we think that money's coming in. So keep it, you know, bank it for safety.
Well, I agree with that, and don't spend too much if it doesn't come, or don't put too much in the budget.
When in our year do we actually see the money?
It comes, we get the first half in April,
Okay.
the second half in October.
Yeah, so we're at risk until April then.
Well,
Yeah.
we're not, are we? Because they presumably
No.
will confirm what the number is at some point.
But they won't
So what-
confirm that until after we've had to put our precept, submit our precept.
Right.
Okay. So
Okay, that was my only comment, but fairly
I mean,
significant.
the other thing to note, though, is that tax base figure of 2267 is 12 more than it was in 2018-19. The anomaly is that it dropped back over the last 2 years, and I don't quite understand how it can go backwards.
I don't know whether it has, whether there's an impact when people, the number of people you've got that don't pay, whether that has an impact on the average band D rating.
okay.
Because you will have people that aren't paying.
Why wouldn't they pay? Because they haven't got the money.
Yeah, and they're, you know,
You get that every year, don't you?
sorry?
You get that every year, and I'm sure the council doesn't let people get away with not paying their rates or their community charge.
Emma, is it possible to ask these questions of the NCT people?
Yeah, I mean, Paul, you had it emailed to you, didn't you?
Yeah, I chased them up and got an email.
Yeah.
You know, the whole story that we've got going on here about it going down and then coming back up again, you know, just to have that explanation of why it went down and then came back up again.
Yeah, we ought to ask that. It does seem very odd.
I mean, it's the second time it's happened. If you look back a little bit further, it dropped after 2012-13 and then took 3 years to get back to where it was.
Yes.
For 2019-20, I asked the question and the answer was a small increase in dwellings and an increase in exemptions related to dwellings.
Yeah. It's the exemptions that affect it.
Again, there's quite a few exemptions, aren't there?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, it's odd.
Yeah. So what we're trying to do is just get assurance that the money is going to come in, isn't it?
It maybe relates to I don't remember the timings, but at one time you could get a reduction, couldn't you, for second homes, and now you can't now. So I don't know whether that's what's happened. Is people's second home exemptions have disappeared.
Ah, okay.
I thought that had happened soon, for longer ago than that, though, but maybe not.
All right, Emma, anything you can find out?
It's very, the information you get back is very vague and is not always straightforward. But if they tell you that's what the figure is, that's what they've got written down. So quite often, and it's just a case of rubber stamping it in January.
Okay.
That will be the figure that it will be. You are almost taking a bit of a gamble if you relying on it before it's been approved, but we'll get it confirmed.
Okay.
All right, so we've got to make this decision now of whether we're approving this budget, because this is our last meeting on this discussion, isn't it? And then till full council. Yeah. So anybody got any objections with it now? This is the third iteration. We've done a lot of questions on it.
No.
Can I ask,
Yes.
say one thing?
Yeah.
When this always gets sent off to East Northants Council, which means it's displayed for everybody. And from a personal point of view, and obviously it's your budget, not mine, I prefer not to see just about £70,000 just on a contingency. It would be better, in my opinion, if you to say, okay, spend £40,000 on a recreation ground and then keep £30,000 for repairs and maintenance, whatever, and either bring some projects forward, because otherwise you're going to find by pushing these other projects back in another 2 years' time, whenever a new council comes in, you'll suddenly be looking at a very large precept increase because all the projects have been pushed back.
Coming up the local government review line.
You can call it whatever you want to, yeah.
The line that we've got in, that I think Danny Moody said to put in.
The was it LGR?
Yeah.
I think you decided to take.
The only problem with marking it or putting it against a project, if we then choose not to do the project, we've got to decide, we've got to say why we're not doing that when the money's sitting there. But I think because Danny has said, we should be putting money aside for local government reform, we could perhaps put it there.
So this is the LGR fund, is it?
Yeah.
Just a question then, if we put it on that one, are we allowed to spend it on something else? Do we by putting it under that lock it away for?
Well, we don't ring fence it unless we make a conscious decision to ring fence it. We could call it anything, but the reality is that if we run out of money in budget heading X, and we need to use money from budget heading Y to do it, we've always simply done it.
Oh, okay. Right. So we're not locked into anything by putting it there.
No, I mean, that's why we did.
Isn't it?
Yeah, so long as the council approves that you're going to move some money from one budget heading to another and you're giving your reasons, because I think we did move 25 or 24,000 from that NCC services money of original of 60 to pay towards Fletton Field, or put the money aside for Fletton Field, and we also used some of that money to replace the roof on the courthouse. But so long as you agree a resolution to do that.
Yeah, well, I'll have to take advice from any of you. You know the ins and outs of this, but don't really worry about too much where it goes.
I think putting it in the local government reform line makes sense. I mean, and
Okay.
And as we've just said, if we need to allocate it somewhere else during the year, then we make that decision then.
Yeah.
Are you happy with that, Paul?
Yeah, quite happy with that.
Okay. Everybody else happy with that then, being the only modification to this this budget?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're happy to go forward to the full council with it then.
Do we need a vote on this?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
So I'd like to propose it as mayor, and then the seconder. Yep. So we've got Malcolm seconding it, and because I can't see everybody's hands on my screen anymore, but
Okay. I've got all the hands.
I'm saying yes.
yes. Okay. Thank you. All right. So
Yes.
anybody against it? No. Okay. Then that's fine. So it's carried. Thank you. Unanimous. Good. Then to receive the update on the transfer of the council bank account. I've gone to sleep on this one. I hadn't realised we were transferring the bank account.
Again.
Hadn't realised it hadn't happened, to be honest. I just
Right.
by now it must have done.
No, we're still dealing with Barclays and we're having a few issues as it's been ongoing, trying to get signatures for the Queen Victoria Hall. So it appears that Unity Bank will be much easier to deal with, but obviously it means transferring banks again, which will mean everybody who's on the screen will need to give more details, usual things of driving license or passport. Anyone who's changed address in the last 3 years, we need proof of that, and dates of birth for every trustee of the Queen Victoria Hall. And when is a feasible time to get it all completed by? I was going to target initially the end of January because I do want it complete before the year end. Obviously, it makes life so much easier.
Okay.
All right.
But it will mean everyone will be chased for dates of birth, where they've lived, what they've done, samples of DNA, the usual things.
Yeah.
Jerry.
Yeah, I mean, it's from my point of view, it's fine. I mean, you know, it's yes, it's a pain. Yes, we shouldn't have to do it, but we know that Barclays have been not very helpful. So let's just crack on and do it.
Right, okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Right. So Emma, you're going to coordinate us, are you?
Yes, I will do. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but in what Paul said there, he said every member of the QVH trust.
I know.
Yeah.
Does it? That's full set of councillors then, because they're all members, aren't they, of the trust?
Yes. Yeah.
And of course, the position may change next week.
Well, I know. That's what I was
Another
going to say.
thought.
Should we wait until after the full council meeting?
Yeah, there's no point in doing it until
Yeah.
after that, is there?
No. Okay.
Have I missed something there?
Well, we've got potentially 7 candidates for
7.
seven, yeah, for 4 vacancies.
No, I haven't spoken to any of them. Are they? Has anybody spoken to any of them?
No.
No, I thought I thought you were going to email them, Tony.
I haven't got any email addresses, have I?
Yeah, I sent you them.
Oh right, I haven't noticed. Could you send them again, Emma? Because
Yeah, I will. Yeah.
I haven't seen any. So
Yeah.
well, there were 2 that you told me about, but I haven't seen all 7 of them. Jerry.
Well, if that's the case, then I'm strongly of the opinion that we shouldn't be co-opting any councillors on.
No.
Because if we've got 7 people who want to go on, it's only a few months till
Yeah,
elections.
just wait.
I mean, how can we choose one over another, and not be seen to be displaying some bias? I mean, I know this is not on the agenda for tonight, but that's certainly what my position will be next Tuesday.
It's a really difficult call because obviously we've advertised the vacancies. People have come forward, but they've come forward in a lot more.
Well, that's simple enough. We just respond to them all and say, well, as we've had such a positive response, it would be inappropriate for us to select one of you over another. Therefore, we're going to defer it till the elections in April. It's only a few months away.
I'll just get I'll get Danny Moody's advice on it because it's very difficult if you've got vacancies to co-opt onto, and you know people come forward to want to be co-opted. I just don't know how easy it is for us to then turn around and say we're not.
Yeah, but I take Jerry's point.
I know it's very tricky.
Good point. You know, it was all right when we had sort of enough applicants for the space we had available, but when we've got more, then we are put in an awkward position of having to choose one over the other. And I think we could you check with Danny?
I'll ask Danny and see how we handle it.
It's driven, essentially by what Jerry said there is, we've got more than we've got spaces for, and we don't want to get in the embarrassing situation of having to reject one who might be a good one.
Of people that you don't even know. I know, I will. And I mean, we're within the 6 months, 6-month period for the election where we don't have to co-opt.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the point I was going to make. Because the point I was going to make, because I know historically when we've been faced with this issue in the past, we've always said, well, look, we're not going to co-opt with just 6 months of the term to go. And that was a kind of blanket policy decision, which I was going to mention next week anyway, just as a general point. But I think I'm with Jerry on this one, that faced with this rather unusual dilemma, if it's possible for us to suddenly turn around and say, well, we've had a rethink because I'd be tempted to go down that route.
No, I
think we all agree, but we're going to discuss this next week anyway, aren't we?
We are, but we could do a little bit of checking before next week's meeting.
Well,
okay.
But I mean, should I perhaps be telling these people before next week? Because what I don't want to do is have these people turn up.
Yes.
And then we say, oh, sorry, we've now decided we're not going to do it. I think it's better that we tell them beforehand, or I tell them beforehand. If
you could, Emma. Jerry?
I was going to say, I think what the discussion next week needs to be, are we in a position to co-opt, or should we defer it until the elections? And then the following meeting, if we decide that we are going to co-opt, we can have the discussions then. But I mean,
by then we'll be into January.
I wasn't very happy with co-opting people on it anyway, and given that situation, I'm even less happy.
No, well, I think that we've got a majority here anyway, the 4 of us. So,
Yeah.
We're happy with that conclusion.
Okay, I'll contact
You
him.
okay with that?
I'm okay with it, yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. All right.
He's
Yeah,
right.
so I think with the four of us, then it's going to go through that way anyway.
Okay, right.
All right, but yeah, it's got to be a very positive letter back to them. We're
Yes,
really,
I know. Yeah.
we really are impressed.
Yeah, I mean, it is great that we've got such a positive
I
response.
know.
That's really good news.
Yeah.
It's,
These aren't all any ENC councillors, are they, by any chance?
One of them is.
One of them at least is. And
well, this is what sort of started it all off, because last month we were going to co-opt. Well,
yeah. No, when it was only one, it was a bit different. But
yeah.
yeah.
I was just going to say something about that. Maybe, I mean, I might say, look, we've got an ideal opportunity for you to come to a few meetings. I know it's on Zoom, but you know, you've probably only technically got about 3 or 4 meetings before you're going to be thinking.
That would be a very good idea. You know,
so
just
say, please come along.
Yeah, it'll also see a little bit how serious people are as well, because I mean, you know, we've had people join the council before and then we never seen them again. If they'd managed to turn up for 3 full council meetings between now and April, then at least we'll know they're
at least you know
reasonably interested.
Yes.
Feel a bit more committed. Yeah, okay, I'll do that.
Okay, thank you. That was a good point. Right, to receive an update of the transfer of the bank account, just on that one. Consider the grant application from the Business Association. So this was a bit more than we normally have, but yeah, I'll open it to the floor. What was the sum they were after?
£2,000, isn't it?
Yeah, 3,000. Oh no, 2,620. Yeah. So, Jerry, sorry, got the thing going.
Yeah, I'm just going to say that. I mean, I think we've kind of fairly well discussed this already, and it's very much in line with what we said we wanted to do. So I'm pretty sure we encouraged OBA to put forward this application. So I think I'm very happy with it. I think, you know, we've got the money in our budget this year. There's money for marketing. The town needs all the support it can get from that point of view, and I'm very much in favour of it.
Okay, Malcolm.
Yeah, I think you're right. The only reading this, I mean, maybe I don't understand who's driving this, who's going to coordinate it. It sounds like they are, but on behalf of the traders. Now, we're missing a trick here. I think we should be doing this as well with marketing QVH and all the other things we got. This is exactly the sort of thing we should be doing with our own marketing. So I don't know how we could get that across there, or if we do it separately or whatever.
Well, but the comms working party is working quite closely with the Oundle Business Association with this project, because that's where the upgrade of Oundle Info to Love Oundle is happening, and Ian and myself and Rebecca had a meeting about that today. So we are working together with them.
Okay, I understand that, but as we're paying for most of it by looks of things, then maybe we ought to have more of a key role. And if we want that sort of, we want to push our own agenda, our own, well, the other wider needs of the council forward, we should be able to.
Yeah, I'm keen that we add our, sorry, David, for you for next.
Well, it's only that I think that procedurally we probably ought to deal with a grant application of this size next week. I don't think there'll be any problem with the principle of it, because as Jerry said, we talked about it. We were supportive of this general idea. We just didn't know that this specific thing would come forward. But I'm also very conscious of what Malcolm's just said, because we should be using this vehicle as a way of promoting the council in its widest aspects, and particularly those facilities that we have got available, like the QVH and so on. So whether there could be some sort of management structure in which the council could be actively involved as part of this, I don't know.
Yeah, okay, just keep going around the table. Jerry, then Emma.
I think we are involved through the communications group. So, you know, I think, you know, they're talking about regular social media postings. We just need to make sure that we get some of those posting about what town council facilities are available as well. So that, you know, as well as the isn't AMPS and isn't 7 wells and isn't Trendall's great. We've got look at this facility we've got up at Fletton House as well.
Yeah.
As long as that happens as well, then I think that's fair enough.
Yeah. So we
That's
we
near
have
enough,
that-
but that's what I was just going to say.
Malcolm again.
Well, it's just that if we can promote our series of bed, I don't mind paying a bit more money, quite frankly, for it, and keeping this, this person doing more work if it works.
Yeah. Now, what I like about this group is that that their professionalism in the things they touch and the speed of response with them compared to many of the things we do. So I think it's right to have our representation in there. But what I don't want to do is slow them down at all.
No. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No.
So okay, you just on that then we said it does need to go to full council because of the size of the award.
Yeah, it's tricky because obviously our terms and conditions for the finance committee are that we approve grants, but then our expenditure is limited to 2,000. So I think just sort of belt and braces it. I think.
All right.
Just take it to next week as well.
Yep.
So do you want us to prove it now and then we take it, or?
I think it would be a question of, do we recommend it as?
I think recommendation.
That's perhaps the way we should take it forward, that the Finance and General Purposes Committee recommend approval of this application.
Okay.
And then woe betide anybody who talks against it next week, I suspect.
All right. Sorry, do we need to vote on that, Emma, or is it just happy with that?
I think if you all agree to recommend it, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. Right. Okay, then. And unfortunately, we've got a filibuster for the next hour then because we don't do any other business. Any other business for report only?
Nothing from me.
No.
No.
No, Paul, you're happy in the counting house there?
Quite happy, yeah.
All right then. Okay, so on to the full council next week then. And thank you very much, Emma, again. And once you turn the microphone off, I've got one more question.
Okay. Have we finished the meeting now?
Yes, thank you.